In our quest to cover all the members of the Koopaling clan, we have arrived at our second member, Ludwig von Koopa. Let's see how this little fella changed over the years in terms of story, use, game design and looks. Ludwig acts as the leader of the group, but we don't know a whole lot about his personality. But he's reported in the official bios as being intelligent, conceited and a show-off, and was named after composer Ludwig van Beethoven. We first saw him in Super Mario Bros. 3. In this game, he's charged with taking over Pipeland. Easily doing so with the aid of his airship and armies, Ludwig steals the magic wand of Pipeland's king, whom he turns into either a piranha plant or Yoshi, depending on the version of the game. So overall, the stories of the different members in Super Mario Bros. 3 are very similar, which we could have expected. Back then, Nintendo didn't really care about story, and even now they still don't, but at least more than they used to. Now for his boss fight, probably the most important part about him at this point. In battle, Ludwig goes into his shell and tries to roll into Mario, though fast and capable of making stunning earthquakes and magic blasts. So he's quite different from some of the others. He and Roy are the only ones that can stun other people. Now this tactic was probably stolen from the Sledge Bro, which was also seen for the first time in this game. I'm not sure which one got this ability first during development, but they are clearly the same. However, there's one problem with this boss fight. He is way too slow. You can easily hit him 3 times and win. As long as you don't get hit by the earthquake stun move, you are completely fine. So be sure to jump a lot. This is his main way of attacking you, and it's just way too easy to counter. And the magic blasts are rarely seen in the fight. So overall, this is not a good battle. He jumps around and you will do the same. You hit him 3 times really fast, and it's over. The fact that the battle stage is small also doesn't help with this. You can get to him quickly because of it. Now after this, he returns in the next game, Super Mario World, where he's assigned to occupy the 4th world of Dinosaur Land, the Twin Bridges. And this version is very different from the one seen in the previous game. Visually, he changed a little. His shell is a different color now, but that's it. The biggest change was his entire boss fight. During his battle with Mario, Ludwig uses some interesting combat strategies. For example, spitting fireballs, sliding around in his spiked shell, and occasionally making huge leaps. The entire stunning ability is gone, and the same goes for the magic blasts, and this new fight is way better. Especially the huge leaps he does. Look at this! It looks like something straight out of James Bond or something. And as soon as he hits the ground, he blasts you with fireballs. This fight is so much better than the old one. And this jump move looks extremely cool. There's some difficulty finally, since as soon as he lands, you will have to dodge his attacks and then you can hit him. By the looks of it, they also upped his attack speed, which was certainly needed. So this was a huge improvement. Now they also added a fun little Easter egg to his name in the game, something that references to the origin of it. After defeating Ludwig, Mario destroys his castle. The text that accompanies this suggests that he isolated himself to compose Koopa symphonies, at least until Mario showed up to ruin his work. However, this was added by the localizer, as the original Japanese version uses uniform text for the defeat of all 7 Koopalings and does not even use individual names for them. So the original version is still bland when it comes to story, but the American one at least goes a bit more in depth. This is just a fun little reference, which is a fun touch, and I'm really curious what kind of music it would be. But I guess we will never know. But after this, he and the Koopalings were gone for ages, most likely because of the 3D games, since they were never seen there. And when they rebooted the 2D games with the new Super Mario Bros series, they picked them up again and started to build on them. Ludwig and the other Koopalings reappeared in new Super Mario Bros Wii after 19 years of absence from the main series. His physical appearance remains relatively unchanged, though Ludwig's shell is now blue instead of green, and his sprite now has blue hair. So finally, the artwork fits with the in-game model. It's kind of weird that it never did. All the Koopalings first appear in the opening scene, and Ludwig later on appears as both the fortress and castle boss of World 7. He has an audible voice in-game for the first time, and is portrayed by Mike Vaughn, who gives Ludwig a much deeper voice than a cartoon series actor. In my opinion, it's quite fitting with the entire theme they're going for. A smart, classy villain. Now let's look at the fortress fight. This one's easier than the castle one. His tactics are similar to the ones seen in Super Mario Bros 3. However, there are some changes. Good ones. He conjures a blue fireball from his wand, so nothing new there. But this time around, it slowly homes into the players. So unless you destroy it by shooting a fireball at it or something else, it keeps following you, forcing you to dodge it every time it comes around. He's also the fastest to cast a spell out of all the Koopalings, so that's a huge improvement. It's a real threat this time around. Besides that, the jumps are also back. He goes really high up and flutter jumps above the one he tries to stomp on. When jumped on, Ludwig retreats back into his shell and spins from left to right in an attempt to hit the players. So it's similar to the first version, but they did some much needed tweaking to make the fight more challenging. Now for the castle fight. This one is way harder and also does something really cool with the stage. The platforms rise up and down during the fight, and falling between the spaces results in losing a life. His fireballs no longer home in, but instead they split into 4, and it takes more time to cast them. And he uses his flutter jump ability to get to another section of a platform. This time around, he's a lot harder to beat. Besides dodging his attacks and trying to hit him, you also have to do platforming. Everything combined makes this quite a hard boss to deal with, and the place where you fight him is pretty fitting for this. This is the last castle you take on before you fight Bowser. So of course, they wanted this one to be difficult, and they certainly succeeded with this. But this isn't the end for Ludwig, since he and the others were also seen in New Super Mario Bros 2. He's the World 5 castle boss. Yet again, the boss fight changed, and this time around it's more focused on his flutter jump, since they added something new to the stage. He uses this ability to grab one of the 5 chains hanging from the ceiling to attack Mario with 3 fireballs. And Mario has to use the 5 grey cannon pipes on the floor to blast himself against Ludwig fast enough, and after that, he falls onto the floor and gets dizzy. This is your chance to attack. After 1 hit, he shoots 4 fireballs, and after 2, the chain he hangs onto starts to swing. Now there's a big problem with this boss fight, and sadly enough, it's a core element of the fight: the cannons. When you're inside of them, you can't be hit. So when he shoots, you go inside of one, and you are safe. This makes the fight extremely easy. It only gets a bit hard when he starts to swing around, but if you're fast enough, you can take him out before he even gets the chance to use this move. Overall, an extreme letdown compared to the version of the previous game, and sadly enough, this trend continues. In New Super Mario Bros U, he uses his magic wand, and the fight takes place in the crow's nest of his airship. Now his new airship looks amazing. It looks just like him, and that's an amazing little detail that makes it even more personalized. In battle, he levitates in the air while making 2 clones of himself, and all 3 Ludwigs will blast fireballs at Mario before dropping onto the ground. Now there are multiple ways to spot the real one so you can hit it. For example, number of fireballs, pose, eyes, and more. But to be honest, you don't even have to do that, because just paying a little attention to what's happening is more than enough. In the beginning, it's just the middle one, and at the very end they do a bit of switching around to trick the player. But it's not enough. You can easily spot the right one. So this fight is yet again really easy, and this could have been avoided. If they did the switching places trick from the beginning, then the fight would have been a bit harder and way more fun. Now you just dodge the slow-moving fireballs and wait for the middle one to come down, and you hit it. That's it. The difficulty just disappeared all of a sudden, which is a shame, since the harder fight from the Wii version was very well designed and a lot of fun. But I do have to say that the animations and visuals look really good, and it reminds me a bit of Dragon Ball Z. Now this is where it ends for Ludwig in the main series. Sure, we did see him in some spin-off games like Paper Mario, but we focus on the main series here. He's a fun and intelligent character, and some of his boss fights were amazing and other ones not that much. But hey, Every enemy or character has its ups and downs. And besides all of that, he is still one of the most iconic beings ever seen in the Mario franchise. Hey everybody, have you ever seen my Twitter, my Instagram, my Twitch, my Discord? You haven't? Well, go check it out now. It's on the screen and in the description down below. Thanks for watching everybody, I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe if you loved this video. I put a lot of time into YouTube, an easy 70 hours a week, and I hope you will appreciate that by hitting that subscribe button.